What's up, brothers? Hope everyone's doing well out there. I wanted to come out here this morning to have a conversation with you guys about some subject matter that really should be common sense, but for some reason nobody really talks about it. And I want to start out by saying that when a lady is sweet on you, when she likes you, when she wants to be with you, two things will occur every single time. Every time. Number one, she'll get a warm and euphoric feeling when she's around you. And number two, she'll feel a little bit lonely and sad when you're gone. To simplify it, let's just say she's happy when she's near you, and she's a little bit sad when you're gone. Okay, this is what causes human beings to connect with each other. This is what causes your parents to invite you over for lunch. This is what causes your friends to want to go out with you on Saturday and have a drink. This is what causes women to want to be with you. Now, it's basic biology. We can't control it. But 99% of guys' ladies' problems when they're dating, now I'm not talking relationships 10 years in, that's a different subject, We talk about that in other videos, but right now I'm talking about when you're dating and you're getting to know women. A lot of guys run into a problem where a woman is being a little bit flaky. She's not responding to your texts. She's ghosted you. It takes her forever to get back to you. And what blows my mind, and so many guys out there have this mindset when they're going through something like this, that they need to step their game up. And by step their game up, this means they think they need to seduce, or manipulate, or show pre-selection, or hire a dating coach, or look up female nature videos. They're doing all of this to try to win her over. But here's what you have to understand. If a woman isn't texting you back, if she's not calling you back, and this should be common sense, it's indicative of the fact that she doesn't appreciate you. Consider it like this. Imagine you go to a restaurant, not necessarily because you like the restaurant, but because you like something about the restaurant and you want to support the restaurant. So you go in there and you give them your money. You're showing your appreciation for the restaurant. You're supporting them. The second they stop showing that they appreciate your support, that they appreciate you as a customer, that's the second you stop going there. But a lot of guys, when they're pursuing women, they can't apply that. For some reason, it doesn't compute with guys. And this blows my mind. It just blows my mind that guys go down this path. But if a woman's taking forever to text you back, she's ghosting, she's flaking. In the words of Sean Carter, you've got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Skedaddle, get on out of there. There's no point in wasting your time with her. Here's another thing that I want to say. A lot of people have totally gotten out of touch with nature. They just don't understand their natural biology. Everyone talks about being emotionally intelligent, or men need to be in touch with their emotions. In a way that's kind of true, but men need to be in touch with nature. When you're in touch with nature, everything's easy. When you look at women, you'll see one of three things every single time, and there's only three categories you can put a woman. Number one, she's hot. Number two, she's my type. Number three, she's not my type. You'll put a woman in one of these three categories. You'll never put her in two of these categories. It's always going to be one. And there's a difference between she's hot and she's my type. She's hot really means I may hook up with her once or twice, but she's hot, that's it. She's a toy. She's my type. That's a level above hot. She might very well be hot, but this is a woman that you want to be with, right? You want to spend time with. And obviously she's not my type means you don't want to spend time with her. But the number one rule at the top of the list of she's my type has to be that I'm her type. How could she be my type if I'm not her type? How could she be my type if she doesn't appreciate me? How could I have a type? How could I be of such low self-worth, such low self-esteem, that my type is somebody that doesn't appreciate me? I couldn't. You know, that would be ridiculous. So when you guys are searching dating advice, and you're doing it because there's a girl you like that doesn't appreciate you, the obvious answer before you start paying for dating advice is just to leave. Because I don't see why you would want to manipulate, seduce, show pre-selection, run game on, try to pass shit tests, try to win a woman over that doesn't appreciate you in the first place. Doesn't make any sense. But by the way, women will look at men the same way that men look at women. They're going to place you in one of those three categories as well. They might think you're hot, meaning they like to look at you, but whatever. You might be their type, meaning they'll actively pursue a relationship with you. They really feel something special with you. Or you might not be their type. You're just invisible to them. But the thing about women is, especially if you place them in that hot category and you're too stupid to understand the way things work, a lot of women will use you as a utility for money and resources. Now, I would say a good 90% of the time when you're having lady problems, it's because she's putting you in that utility category. And you don't even realize it. She doesn't see you as her type. You don't even see her as your type. You just have such low self-esteem that you're afraid to walk away. You're afraid of losing her. But she sees you as a utility. A buddy of mine, really good friend of mine, about 1.5 years ago, he met a girl on Tinder. And she was hot, right? I'd place her in that hot category. All of her pictures were pictures of her on a nice, expensive vacation, wearing a really nice outfit, you know, expensive outfit, expensive jewelry at expensive places, expensive cars, right? The whole profile just indicated that, you know, she was high class, or she wanted to be spoiled. And he makes good money, and he liked what he saw, so he asked her out on a date, and she said yes. Now, there's something that I noticed about their relationship, and that was that she didn't really ever want to hang out with him just doing boring things. You know, she didn't want to just come over and spend the evening at his place. She'd say no to that. She'd turn down that offer. What she would do, though, is she would agree to go out on an expensive date. You know, she would agree to be spoiled by him. And he was fine doing it. He was so blinded. The blue pill blinders were on. So he kept taking her out. And eventually he took her on a couple of vacations. Took her on nice trips. I don't remember where, but expensive beach resorts. And at about the 6-month mark, he proposed to her. Bought her a big-ass diamond ring. And she said yes. But a couple months after that, you know, he felt like he had sealed the deal. He was engaged. They had hit it off. They were having a good time. You know, they were spending a lot of time together. She's hot. You know, he thought he had kind of won the lottery, you could say. But he had to stop taking her on those expensive dinners and those expensive trips because the cost of the ring kind of put a little bit of a damper on his lifestyle, right? He has goals. He has financial goals. He can't blow all of his money on her. But when he stopped spending money on her, she started throwing fits. She started telling him shit like, "You don't love me anymore. You don't take me out anymore. You don't do anything for me anymore." when really what he's trying to do is accomplish his goals to have a bright future that he wants her to be a part of. But she doesn't see it that way. You know, she's cooked. Some people are cooked. Some women are cooked. And they're cooked off of materialism. A lot of men are cooked off of low self-esteem. And I tell you what, when you take a man that has success and he's cooked off of low self-esteem, and you pair him up with a woman that's cooked off of materialism and an inflated self-ego, delusional mindset, that's a train wreck. Anywho, she dumped his ass. She dusted his ass. Man, what the hell's going on with this tree? Anywho, we'll leave that in there. It adds character. He was so in love with her and so mentally weak that he let her keep the ring after she dusted his ass. And looking back, he kicks himself in the ass so many times, like he just doesn't understand what the hell was, what the hell got to him, what screwed with his mind so much that made him behave like such an imbecile, like such a desperate, needy loser. That's just those blue pill blinders, A lot of guys, they get struck by that. If you have those standards set in the beginning, and it just simply goes like this. You just understand that when a woman likes you, she wants to be around you. And when you're gone, she misses you. She wants to greet you with a big warm hug and a kiss. She wants to cuddle up with you on the couch and shit. She gets validation out of that. When you're not giving her that, she's sad. Right? If a woman isn't behaving that way, you should immediately just say, you know what? It's like you're running a business. Say, you pull the employee in, you say, you know what, it doesn't seem like you want to work here. You're a great worker, a great employee, but it just doesn't seem like you want to work here. Got to let them know. The red pill gets a really bad reputation, and I think it gets mischaracterized quite a bit. The reference obviously comes from the movie The Matrix. And if you take the red pill, you see the details, you can read between the lines. You see what's really going on. And if you take the blue pill, you see the mirage. You see what they want you to see. You don't see it for the way it really is. So I know there's a lot of content creators that push a negative, kind of repulsive message from the red pill, and it pushes a lot of people away. But if I were to define the red pill, and I guess everybody can have a different definition of what it is, I would say it's just being in touch with nature, being in touch with your biology. If you take away all the cell phones and TVs and the whatever, all these modern inventions, and we're just human beings out grazing around the plains, just hanging out. You've got some women over here, you've got some men over there. You'll look at some of the women, say she's hot. I'd probably smoke some of that magical herb and take her over in a tent, but I don't see it going anywhere further than that. This one over here, she's not really my type at all. This one here, I like her. I like this one. And you know what I like about her? I like when I look at her and it's obviously showing that I'm attracted to her, she looks back at me the exact same way. I like the way the first time I looked at her, we had that same look. And she kept looking over at me like, is this guy going to approach me or what? So I approached her. And it was real easy. I didn't have to seduce. I didn't have to show pre-selection or run game. I said, hey, nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. And we talked and we hit it off. By the way, a lot of women out there, will put you on Front Street if you are one of these low self-esteem guys, especially if you're a wealthy low self-esteem guy. You know, I've had women tell me things like this guy over here is kind of a weirdo. Like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, he keeps trying to get me to take a ride in his Ferrari. I don't know, look over, it's a pretty good looking dude. You know, physically fit, looks like he has money, obviously has money, drives a Ferrari. She's saying he's lame. You know, he's something weak about his character. You know, it's like, come get some candy. You know, like that's his game. Like, come take a ride in the Ferrari. You know, if you don't have a certain level of authenticity to yourself, it's not going to work. I mean, it will work, but it'll attract the wrong kind of woman. And another reason why the red pill is mischaracterized is because for some reason, and I think it's just for entertainment purposes and for clicks, a lot of content creators out there will use this very small percentage of women that don't represent the majority at all, and they'll put them on the front street as if they're the examples of what modern women are. And the women that they use, to give you an example, I remember being on a dating app one time, and some girl on Tinder asked me if I'd add her on Snapchat, and I added her. She started sending me messages like, what'd she say? You want to buy some content? You know, like when I read, do you want to buy some content? In my mind, I picture like an overweight woman with a pig snout on. You want to buy some content, loser? Right, and that's the way she's messaging me. And I'm thinking, this is a dirty ass, janky ass, amateur porn, not even star, amateur porn producer, not even good at their job, not even desired, that thinks I'm going to spend money to look at her. To me, that is not the average. That is a freaking reject. Like, I'm not going to use that as an example of, you know, some type of a majority like that. Those women, to me, are untouchable. They're avoidable, or they're easily avoidable. They should be avoided at all costs. I don't like to fill my brain with filth. And communicating with somebody like that, that's that filthy, it's going to corrupt your own brain. I think that's where guys get low self-esteem from, by communicating with women like that. You know, and I don't know why so many in the manosphere like to focus on those type of women. You know, delusional women, sex workers. Basically, women that aren't traditional. Why would you focus on a woman that doesn't respect men? And even if it is like 60% of women that don't respect men, why would you focus on them? Ignore them. Starve them of attention. That's the way it's done. You speak to the women that deserve your appreciation. You don't communicate with women that don't. Because I mean, 90% of the time when you're having women problems, that's where it comes from. You're dealing with a woman that doesn't deserve any of your attention at all because she doesn't appreciate your attention, but you keep giving it to her. Makes no sense. All right, guys. I think I've pretty much said what I wanted to say in this video. I don't really see a reason to go on any further. But it's Friday, it's the weekend, I've got a lot to do, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off now. But I hope this video was somewhat informative. And that's about it for today, guys. Until next time, see ya.
Subscribe to the channel.